Hi guys, today we are going to be doing some more looks with the Made by Mitchell Feet on the Ground palette. I'm so excited to be digging into this. I've had such a good time working with the Head in the Clouds palette. I will link those videos in the corner if you want to check those out. I've done 4 looks with that one now, and today, like I said, we're going to do 3 with this one. So I'm not going to blabber at all in the beginning of this. We're just going to get straight into the looks because there's really nothing else that I need to say in the beginning here. So I'm going to start by priming with my Natasha denona eyeshadow base, which I was looking for like 2 minutes and it was literally right in front of me. Such a fail. So I've seen a couple of videos of people using this palette and most of the people focus a lot on like the greens. So I think what I want to do is I want to try to kind of incorporate these other colors along with the greens and not just do like a green look, even though it is a very green palette. So I think what I want to use today is I want to use this yellow as well as this sort of teal shade. I think those could be kind of cool as a crease. And then maybe deepen it up with the black because black is my life. I love me a good black eyeshadow. So do I want to start with the teal or the yellow? I think I'm going to start with the teal here. This one is called Venom. So I'm just going to start by packing this in the outer corner of my eye. That is a beautiful, beautiful color. I really, really like that. I'm going to take this all the way through my crease as well. I'm just going to put down the shadow where it is that I want it to be first, kind of low down so that I still have room to blend it out with the yellow. So let me tell you the story of my failed foundation hunt. So I've tried to place 2 orders now from Sephora during their VIB sale. I know that was a while ago, but I placed 2 orders. Both got declined for some reason. It was like unauthorized transaction. I don't know what the hell happened there, but I had the Kat Von D or KVD Vegan Beauty Portrait Foundation in both of my orders because the one that I have now, I really, really like it, but it's in my summer shade, and right now I'm at my palest. So I needed to get my pale shade, and like I said, both of my orders got declined, and so I was like, well, the sale is over. I don't really want to put in another order for full price. So I waited until Black Friday and I ended up ordering it from, where did I get it? I think I got it from Ulta actually because it was half off on their side as well. So when I look for foundations, when I look for like my foundation shade, if I haven't used a certain shade in a foundation before, I always go with either a light with a neutral undertone or a medium with a neutral undertone, depending on if it's like summer or winter. So obviously I needed my winter shade now, so I ended up getting it in the light neutral. And I got the foundation like 2 days ago, and let me just say that this has never failed me. This is always how I shop for foundations, and the shade match always ends up being really, really good, or at least like good enough that I'm able to use it. So I went to put on my foundation like 2 days ago, 3 days ago now, and the first day I used it, I was like, you know what, this looks fine. And I hadn't really like taken any photos or like looked at the photos that I took using it or seen how I looked on camera with that foundation on. And I realized pretty quickly after I did that the shade match was just too dark. It was too dark and it was just a little bit too like warm tone. I don't know if that's what it was, but it was just off. And now I'm really, really upset about it because the reason why I wanted to buy another one of that foundation is obviously because number one, I really like it, but also the other foundation that's like my very holy grail that I would say is like my absolute favorite right now is like $43, and that one wasn't on sale at all. And so I ended up having to repurchase that one anyway, just because my KVD one ended up being such a flop and I didn't want to get yet another shade of that foundation because who knows what that one would look like. So I'm just really annoyed right now, like such a bummer. I ended up getting a foundation on sale just to have to buy another one full price after the sale. It's like, what am I doing with my life? But I really didn't have a choice because right now, the only foundation that I have in my shade is the Estee Lauder one, which is $43, like I was saying. And this is the perfect winter match for me, but I'm almost out. But there's also nothing I can do about it because I needed a new foundation and I wanted it to be a nice and reliable foundation. So that's just where we're at. So I took that underneath my eye as well. As you can see, my eye is watering a little bit like underneath my eye here, so if like things aren't looking great, that's why. So I'm gonna go into the yellow now, and this one is called Chemtrail. This is definitely a cool tone yellow, more so than a warm tone yellow like that one. So I'm gonna take this shade, a little bit of fallout from that teal. This basically looks like a neon, like that's kind of crazy. I'm just gonna run that over the edge of where I put down this teal and use this to blend it out with. This is a very, very powdery shade and probably on the dry side, which neon shades tend to be. So I'm just going to pack it on before I do any kind of blending. I'm just using a small pencil brush here. I'm going to have fallout with this, I can already tell, but that is really just the nature of neon shadows, so I'm not really mad at that at all. It's kind of to be expected with a shade like this. But it's looking very nice and pigmented when I first put it down, so we'll see what happens when I start to blend this out here. I am gonna have to go back in with that teal, but I always have to do that when I start with the darkest shade first. I always have to go back in with the darkest shade. I gotta admit, that is a beautiful shade, and that is actually sticking to my eye so much better than what I was expecting. So I'm just gonna kind of work on the blend between my crease colors now before we do anything on the lid. This looks good. What do I want to do? Do I want to take a little bit of the black? I think I'm going to do that because I just can't help it. This one is called lmao. I do kind of remember from my first impression that this isn't the most pigmented black, so I really swirled my brush in there. It's quite hard pressed into the pan. And I'm just going to pack as much of this on the outer corner of my eye as I can. This is definitely a very beginner-friendly black. I remember saying that in my first video as well. So if you're someone who's maybe intimidated by black, I think that you would probably get along with this black pretty nicely. I'm just keeping this to my very outer corner here. I'm also going to take just a little bit of this on the outer corner of my lower lash line. This black is super easy to work with. I really like that. I definitely need to go in with my crease shade just one more time, but I think I want to do my lid shade. So let's take a look and see what kind of shimmers that we have as options. Basically, all of the shimmers are leaning quite green, so I guess I don't really have a choice but to do a green lid. And I kind of want to do something a little bit different that I don't really do. I want to do the darkest green, like in the front portion of my lid, and then I want to do the lighter green, this one right here, like in the middle, kind of making it in a bit of a, not a halo eye, but I just think it's going to look a little different. So let me put down some glitter primer. And the one that I use is from NYX. I'm just going to take this on both eyes. This might have been a little bit too much, but too late now. So I'm just gonna spread this out where it is that I want it to be. I'm gonna try to make this into a bit of a faux half cut crease type thing. So like I was saying, I want to take the darkest shade in the inner portion, and that's gonna be Mama's Garden. Just gonna grab that on the same brush that I have my glitter primer. And I'm gonna put that in the very inner portion of my lid here. This is a stunning color. I love that it has kind of small little glitter particles in it. It's very, very nice and reflective. So let's see, next I'm gonna grab the lighter of the shade, which is called Limeade. So this one right here. This one is a little bit more on the sheer side, it seems like. So I'm trying to pick up a lot and really pack a lot of this onto my eye. Obviously just putting this right in the middle here and blending it into that other shade. And I'm also going to try to gently blend this into the black, see if I'm able to get a good gradient between the two. Isn't it funny how here I am being like, I'm going to try not to do a full green look. Guess where we're at. I should have known that. I mean, I kind of knew that the teal would turn into a bit of a green since I mixed it with the yellow, but I still really, really like that look. I need to play with like this kind of placement a little bit more because this looks really fun. So let's see, I think that's all I want to do. I'm going to take a little bit more of the black though, just to kind of finesse the outer edges a little bit to make sure that this gradient is looking okay. And then I'm going to go ahead and finish off the eyes, and I'll come back and I will show you the first look. So this is the look all done, and I did do a couple of little things just to finish off because I just thought it would be fun, and it's something that I've been wanting to try for a while. So I did kind of a multi-chrome peekaboo liner here, and how I did it is I basically first put down a layer of black eyeliner, and then I went over it with this Linda Hallberg liquid multi-chrome shadow, and I think it looks really cool. It's definitely something I want to keep trying to play more with. I've been wanting to do it with my powder multi-chromes as well, but since I have hooded eyes, I don't like the fact that sometimes shadows will transfer if I use shadows as liners, so I just haven't done it before. But this looks really good, and I love the fact that I have a liquid multi-chrome that I can do it with because these always dry down and they're pretty waterproof. For my lipstick, of course I went with the red because it is December and I've just been trying to wear all of my red lipsticks this month, and it's been so much fun. So I got a little package from Laura Mercier a while back, and I got a lip liner in the shade Crimson, so I used that along with the lipstick that they sent me. This is such a beautiful, beautiful red lipstick. Oh, I love this. It has a bit of a glossy finish, but it's still like a lipstick. It's not sticky or anything. It's just a very satiny but beautiful lipstick formula. It's hard to explain. It's really, really nice though. I like it a lot. This one is in the shade Rouge Ultime or something like that. I really don't know. I'll list it down below in my description box. But that's basically going to be the look all done. And I really like how this turned out. It's very festive, but it's also like very fun. So very me. Love that. Let's go ahead and get into the second look. Okay, so like I said in the first look, I'm not going to do a green look. I promise I'm not going to do a green look today because I don't think I'm going to touch any of the green mattes. We'll see though, because as usual, things might change. I'm going to start with, I want to use these two in my crease because I feel like they will just go really nice together. So I think I'm going to start with the darkest shade. So I'm going to take this one, which is called Tulip. I'm pretty sure I used that one in my first impression. Taking this on my Rephr number 13 brush, who is surprised? Literally nobody. And I'm going to start in my outer corner. I'm also going to pack it in my crease, nothing fancy. Just going to put down the shadow where it is that I want it to be, and then we're going to blend it out with the lighter shade. I'm going to take this underneath my eye as well, just because I want this to be a pretty, at least simple look when it comes to my crease colors, and then we'll see what I end up doing after. This is such a pretty color. I love this already. Let's see. I'm gonna next go into the shade here called Tiger Lily, which I haven't used yet. This looks so pretty and I think it's going to make for like a really nice blending out shade. So I just wiped off my brush. I'm taking it on my same brush and I'm just gonna run that right over the edge of where I put down this purple. And I'm gonna try to just get a good blend between these two and also just blend this out so that I get a good gradient all the way around my eye. So like I'm trying with this look to not be so chatty. Man, the first look, it's almost like I just forgot that I was filming a 3-look video and I just kept running my mouth, and I don't know why I do that to myself. And I don't know why I do that to you, because I don't know if anybody really wants to watch like 30-minute videos every time I do a 3-look 1 palette video. Maybe you do, but I don't know. I try to be just a little bit less chatty in these videos, but I fail every single time. I'm so sorry. I'm just gonna go back in with that purple shade that I first used and make sure that all the blends are looking nice. Just really building this back up again in my crease to get it as dark as I am able to. These colors are just playing so nicely together. Always just get the most beautiful blends with these shadows. I'm just gonna go over the edge ever so slightly in the inner corner of my eye here with a clean brush. I always struggle to like get this area to be nice and blended, and then just gonna kind of run it around the edge of the eye too and really smooth out these edges. But this looks so nice. Oh, I really like this. So I'm thinking what I want to do on my lid is I either want to do this duochrome up here, which is I guess it's just a pink to slight orange, like pinky corally one. That could be really pretty, but I really want to use this one in my inner corner. It kind of matches my nails. This green, I think the green would be really fun in the inner corner, but green could also be really fun on the lid. I think I just want to use the pink one though, because I have a feeling not a lot of people are going to use that. So I'm going to first put down some of my NYX glitter primer, and I'm not going to make this into a half cut crease. I'm just going to put the primer on my lid. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the same brush with the same side that I put the glitter primer on and dip that into the shadow. And this is just going to pick it up beautifully. See? Oh, so pretty. And I'm just going to slap that all over my lid. And then I think I'm going to use the green in my inner corner after. We'll see how this looks. Now that I think about it, did I use this shade in my first impression video? I might have, but that's been like, I don't even know, 2 weeks now since I filmed that. So it's been a little while. But it is a beautiful shade and it just goes really nicely with the crease colors as well. Now let's see what happens if I go in with some green in the inner corner. I'm going to take the shade here called Limeade. Going to spray that with some Fix Plus here. I'm going to blow this out a little bit here because I do want it to look like it's green in my inner corner. So I definitely want to have a lot of this on my eyeball. Just going to blend that into the pink on my lid. Also just take it down to my lower lash line. And I think I like that. I think it just added a little bit of something extra, which I am always all about. Before I finish off, I'm just going to take a little bit more of this purple and make sure that my outer corners are looking nice and blended into that shimmer. And then I'm going to finish off my eyes. I don't know what I want to do. I want to do like, I don't know, like a fun liner or something. I don't know. I feel like I say that a lot lately, but I feel like this look just needs a little something extra. So I will figure out what I want to do and I'll be back and I'll show you the look. Okay, so this is how the look ended up looking, and I did have to just do a little bit of extra fun. So I did little dots here in my crease, and I think it turned out really good. So I used the neon liner from JD Glow, or is this a pastel? It's the pastel green. And then how I did it is I used a nail dotting tool. I don't know if you've seen these, but I just used like the little tip of this to make little dots here, and it's very easy to like control the size when you have like a little tip. So that's how I did that. And then for my lips, I'm wearing the Makeup Forever pencil. This is just like an artistry pencil. You can use it for whatever. It's the orange one. It's called Any Tangerine. And then on top, I'm using the Udensai cream lip stain in the shade Sweet Tulip, which obviously is kind of a dark orange. And I feel like it looks okay with this look. And I was so happy because I finally got to open a new tube of my Bad Gal Bang. And there's no better feeling than just having a fresh mascara. Man, the one that I've been using is like way too old and so dried out. I was finally able to throw it out, which made me so happy. For my highlighter, I went with a pink, and I'm using Cupcake Crush from Bitter Lace Beauty, which is this one right here. Let's see, anything else? In my waterline, I used Freak from Urban Decay, which is a green. I'm not sure how well you can really see it. I feel like it didn't really stick in my waterline this time. Anyway, that's gonna be it for the second look. I really like how it turned out, and I'm excited to do another one, so let's go ahead and do the last look. Okay, so the last look, honestly, I'm so sad this is the last look. I'm not gonna lie, because I keep looking at this palette and I'm like, I could do so many looks with this. But I think for today's look, I want to try this shade here called Bittersweet, because it just looks like such a fun kind of pastel-y green. So I think I'm gonna start with that in my inner corner, and we'll just kind of take it from there and see where we end up, because I don't really have much of a plan with this. Like, there is just endless possibilities when I look at this palette, and that makes me so happy. This is such an interesting and unique color. I don't think I have anything like this in a palette. This is so cool. Just gonna pack that in my inner corner, like I said here. I'm gonna take it quite high up just to make sure that I put on enough of this, because I'll probably end up covering it up with some other mattes after, especially like in my crease. This, as well as the other kind of neon shade, is quite powdery and a little on the dry side, so you definitely want to have a tacky base down. I've obviously already primed in this spot because I knew I was going to do this. I'm tempted to work with a lot of these kind of cool tone shades that I haven't really touched, especially the grays. I don't usually do a lot with grays, but I feel like it could be kind of fun, so maybe that's what I'll do. I'm gonna take the shade here, which is called Descent, and then I'm gonna deepen it up with Bored in the House. So I'm first gonna go in with this shade here. So as per usual, I'm just going to pack this color on where I want it to be, which is in my crease, and then I will work on blending it out after. I think this look as well is going to be a pretty basic, like shape-wise. I'm just going to use a transition shade and a deepening shade because it's just what I'm feeling today. So I'm just going to really work on taking this all the way around my eye and making sure it's nice and blended. So that built beautifully, which I was not expecting anything else. I'm going to switch to my Rephr number 13, and I'm going to go into the shade called Bored in the House, which is this one. This looks to be a very, very dark gray with a bit of a kind of green undertone to it. It's a very, very interesting shade. I'm going to use this to basically deepen up in the same spots that I put down my transition shade. I'm also going to take this on the outer portion of my lid. Having the tiniest amount of fallout with the shade, but I think that is mostly my fault for going in quite heavy. But I'm gonna see if I can wipe it off after and just make sure that it doesn't stick to my face. But otherwise, this shade is performing very, very well. I think that was a very, very fun color. I know it just looks gray, but I definitely can see that there's a little bit of green in it. Let me just make sure that this fallout isn't going to stick to my face, which it did not, which is nice. I'm thinking for my lid shade, I want to use something kind of on the cool tone side, but most of these definitely lean cool tone, so I think I have a lot of options here. Now let me just kind of figure out what it is that I've used already. I've definitely used this one. I think I used this one in my first impression. I've used this shade, I'm pretty sure. I haven't used this one, which maybe I'll take that on the outer portion of my lid and then do this one in the inner portion. Maybe that could be an idea, just so we can kind of try out more of these shades. So I think that's what I'm gonna go ahead and do. I'm gonna first go in with this shade. Just gonna put down some NYX glitter primer before I go in with the shimmer, of course. And I'm gonna start with the shade down here, which is called Grass. That is a beautiful green. I'm just gonna put that on the outer corner of my eye. I'm gonna start in the middle and kind of drag it outwards. That is super fun. I do feel like there's a little bit of like a yellow in this. Is this a duochrome? I didn't think it was, but maybe it is. Mostly just kind of tapping this on where it is that I want it to be, and also just blending it into my crease and the outer corner. I'm gonna flip my brush and I'm going to pick up the shade here called Fool's Gold, and that's gonna go in the inner portion of my lid. I don't know if I want to maybe layer something over that kind of neon shade in my inner corner just so I can really intensify that, but we'll see. So this is definitely going to be like the gist of the look. So I think I'm just gonna go ahead and finish off because this is basically what I want to do with the shadows. I might layer something in the inner corner after, but if I do, I will just kind of tell you what I did when I'm done. So I'll be right back. And here is the final look, and I think that this turned out really, really cool. I think it is the green lipstick that kind of like pulled this all together, as well as the waterline. And both of the things that I use are from Melt. It's from the new Beetlejuice collection. The lipstick is in the shade Ghost with the Most. This is such a fun color. I just can't get enough. Like every time I wear a fun lipstick like this, like I just feel really cool. I don't know what it is. In my waterline, I use the eyeliner, which is called the Afterlife. These are so good in the waterline. I didn't think they would be, but despite them being super, super creamy, they actually stick to my waterline very well. And I love this color. I think it's so fun. And I really like this look. I don't feel like I've ever done anything even remotely like it because I don't really play with like these kind of grays that often, and I feel like paired with the greens, they look really, really nice. So those were all of the 3 looks. Now let me again tell you everything that I love about this palette, because again, I don't have any complaints at all. And one of the things that I actually like the most about these palettes is just how well they wear on me. Like I never have any problems with creasing. I don't usually have problems with creasing, but these just like, they look perfect when I take it off at night too, and I really appreciate that. Like sometimes I need to go in with my finger and kind of like tap over the shimmers a little bit because I don't know, I do have hooded eyes and sometimes things just crease on me, and that's just how it kind of goes. So I don't really judge a shadow based on whether or not it creases, because sometimes it happens and it's not really that big of a deal because it's very easy to fix. But these don't crease on me at all, and I really appreciate that. The mattes are super nice, very buildable, very blendable, very easy to work with in my opinion. I haven't had any problems with any of the shades, and I really like the pastels and like the neon shades perform so well. Of course, they're going to perform their best if you put them on top of a tacky base, which really can be said for all pastels and neons. It's just they just perform better that way, but they are beautiful. They're so nice. The dark colors in this palette are wonderful. The black is definitely more on the kind of sheer to buildable side. It's not the most intense black in the world like you saw when I was using it, but it's a very beginner friendly black, and I think it's the kind of black that everybody would get along with, especially if you're not like very used to using black shadow. I think this would be a good place to start. And I just love the color story. I love this palette. I love the formulas. I love everything about this. I love the brand so far, and I can't wait to see what they do next year. I honestly wish that I did my rankings a little bit later, because that way I would have probably ranked these palettes in my top 5. I'm not really sure. It just sucks that I was only able to use them once before I started ranking them, because I really feel like these would have ended up higher if I did. But then again, the palettes that ended up in my top 5 are just such good palettes, so it's still very, very tough to compete against. But I absolutely love these palettes, and if you guys have been thinking about picking them up, I would highly recommend them. I think that you would absolutely love them as much as I do. So that's going to be my looks and my review on these palettes. I'm honestly sad that I'm probably not going to have a lot of time to play with them again, but I need to find a way because they are amazing, and I can't wait to dig into them again because I'm still just so inspired. Do you want me to do a multi-palette bingo using both of these? Maybe I can like do 3 shades from each palette and do something like that. Let me know if you want to see that. That could be kind of fun. So that's going to be it for today's Annette. Thank you so much for watching as always. If you want to see my Annette playlist, if you missed any videos, I will put that up on the screen. And if you're new, don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you in tomorrow's video. Bye.